Hello. Um, just thinking that it'd be a good time to just sort of go over my entire thoughts on Season of Discovery coming up here. And that's probably just really bright on some people there. Sorry about that. But I've been thinking about it a lot now. It's been a couple weeks since this announcement. I've made quite a few videos going over, a couple small things here and there, mostly PvP. Uh, and then I thought, well, I could make like a leveling guide, but that doesn't make sense because we just don't know. Like, we're going to be getting runes. We're going to be, they could change some quest items and make them stronger. I mean, they're tweaking things, so we don't know everything that they're going to change. The only thing we do know is it's going to be faster, like a lot faster, because we're going to be getting these runes very early on. As you can see, this is a level 2 quest to get Crusader Strike for Paladin that was revealed at BlizzCon. Uh, having a 4-second spammable attack that returns 2% of your maximum mana. Yeah, that's going to make things just a lot faster. Kind of change some of your gearing around to match that. Because Paladin leveling well, to 25 really doesn't matter. You can kind of do whatever you want to 25. Really, beyond that, like once you get to like level 30, especially like level 40 plus, you go into an AoE grind setup where you do want intellect and stam, and because it's just so inefficient to just kill one mob at a time at that point. Like trying retribution with command and stuff in a slow two-hander, it's extremely painful to do. Very inefficient, also. Uh, so you kind of just go into like an AOE grind. You get some damage return stuff, things like that. But to 25, it's not going to matter. You can kind of do whatever you want, and really two-handed ret leveling is just fine at that point. And then you're getting Crusader Strike on top of that. It's going to be pretty good. So, and you can see, like, I've been using these AI generated thumbnails. Been playing around with AI quite a bit. It's been kind of fun. But anyway, like, so we are getting these runes, which are going to make it a lot faster, and like, that's got a lot of people excited. You're getting new, unique ways of getting skills to like balance classes out and kind of fill some of the gaps. The only thing is it really looks like it's just way too powerful to me. Like a lot of these classes and what they're getting is really pushing the envelope here. Uh, you know, we all are kind of okay with classic WoW balance, but for the most part, we're all right with warriors, you know, damage being where it's at. We kind of just want small buffs to other classes to kind of catch up to that. As far as like when people were talking about like classic plus changes, they didn't mean like we want Wrath of the Lich King skill trees and stuff. Like it's to me, I think the biggest thing is it's just going to make the world not feel like classic. You're going to be killing mobs so much faster and stuff. It's going to be on pace with like later expansions of the games. They have said that they will retune some of the mobs and stuff, give them a little more health, make them a lot more dangerous to compensate for this. But I don't know. You're getting so much here. Um, and lastly, I see like these people out there saying like, "Man, this is great. This is classic plus beta. We're gonna play this for a year or so, and then boom, next thing we know, we're gonna have a true classic plus." And uh, that's not the case. That's not what they're. You can look at everything that they've said before when they released Season of Mastery, and now this season. It's kind of just playing into what they said they were gonna do. They were gonna make it like Diablo style seasons. And I think this could actually be better for the game long term. Because If they put a lot of development time and money and stuff behind it, like we just want Classic Plus. We're giving them the Classic Plus expansion. Let's put a couple of years behind it, a couple $1 million, and then they release this. And what if it's just like one of their retail expansions? They've never been able to make the game better, right? The game's always just been progressively getting worse over time. So the idea that they're just going to come in and they can make this is probably not correct, right? Right. It's just not going to be something that they can do, and maybe they're smart enough to realize that. I'm not saying they are or anything. I'm just saying this is, to me, definitely seems what they're leaning into. Is, you know, this is the company that makes Diablo, and they understand that they can tweak the game slowly over time with seasonal content, right? This giving us glyphs, and the glyphs could work and it could be great, and, you know, everybody could love runes, and the next season we get the runes back, and maybe they change some of them, they rebalance them, you know, change the levels that you get them or whatever. Or it could be completely overtuning, and it could be way too powerful, and it could kind of destroy that classic feel of the game. And this allows them to keep the good faith with the community and say, oh, we're going to listen to this feedback. Runes aren't a thing in the next season. We're just going to scrap that idea, and we're going to move into crafting, or we're going to move into changing the skill tree, right? So they could go in and they could say, this season is season of crafting, where we want, there's going to be all kinds of new patterns for you to discover and find, and, you know, we'll change and we'll drip feed the content still. Like, you know, now the level cap's going to be like 35, 45, 60. And, you know, we'll add some new zones and quests and some dungeons and raids, just like they did with this one. And, you know, then we'll be all excited for that, right? And then at the crafting season, like, it turns out the crafting items were way too good. So everybody just crafted their items, and nobody ran any 5-mans or anything as they leveled. Like, if the crafting gear is too good, and you just grind that out, and the first time you actually are ever in a group for somebody is to, like, raid Molten Core, well, then they can tune the crafted items back down and stuff. And then the next season, they come in and they say, well, we're going to revamp the skill trees, and we're going to change all that around. This allows them to now have a base game, vanilla World of Warcraft, that they can just add a little to here, then take a little bit of that away, add this instead, right? They can revamp a couple quests, they can add new zones away along the way, give us a little bit of lore here and there, and they can just sort of fill the world up instead of having to sit and commit a long-term, like, a huge dump of resources and time into making one big expansion that, you know, everybody has the idea of Classic Plus. Just give us the next thing and fill up everything and stuff. They're going to get there, but this isn't just like a beta for it, right? This season is, you know, yeah, you could look at it as a beta, but then the next season is just another beta and another, right? And they're just going to keep adding little things to it, and then when things that don't work, they'll be able to just remove, and that way the community can still stay pretty happy with the changes and can kind of guide this along, and we can end up with a much better game than if Blizzard were to just, you know, spend 2-3 years developing Classic Plus and get it all wrong. So I think that's kind of where my thoughts are on Season of Discovery. I think it's going to be really cool to get new stuff and try things out. I think that's why everybody's, like, so hyped for it. I just think it's probably going to fall into this category, because that's just the way all the seasonal content happens in these type of games, right? Or in the action RPG space that they're taking this season idea from. I haven't played Diablo, but I do play Path of Exile. And every time something comes up with Path of Exile, they have good leagues, and it's like, wow, this is great stuff, and there's no reason to do anything else. But then some leagues are a really big miss, and they suck, and they buff it over time. But some leagues are really powerful and really fun, and then to make sure that that isn't the only thing that you do, to make sure that runes aren't the only thing that matter in the game moving forward, they just nerf the runes. They just pull back some of that power, right, and give us more power in the form of crafting. And over time you do get a power creep in the game when you're doing this stuff, and they will have to combat that. Like, this is a lot of power creep. The rune system is a ton of power creep going in. And also, here are just my thoughts on just Paladin in general, going into Season of Discovery. Because I was thinking with the initial, like, tanking, because I do want to tank as a Paladin, because it's fun tanking 5-mans as a Paladin, but raid tanking's just wasn't a thing, right? Like, you could force it and you could really try it, but wasn't enjoyable for me to try to push it that hard. But here I definitely want to try it, and this is obviously your level 25 setup. Like we talked before, you have to come down here. Righteousness is a lot of your threat. You're going to want intellect because you're getting some of your skills look like they're going to have a base mana cost associated with them, rather than just a flat amount that we're kind of used to in Classic. So getting intellect on your gear, getting more intellect, which you do need a lot of int stam gear to be tanking, because you need the mana pool to keep dropping consecrates and keep the dungeon running. You don't want to have to drink after every single pull that you do. Like, you want to be able to do 3, 4, 5 pulls before you have to drink. And really, strength just doesn't matter for tanking this early on and stuff. It's you just want int stam gear, right? Now the 5 extra points, since Aegis doesn't stack with Reed, I'll probably just go here. But then at the level 40 bracket, realize you can't get Sanctuary and Consecration. So I was thinking you probably can come off of Aegis and go Martyrdom for AoE, and actually use Redoubt and stuff so that you can get Sealed Specialization, you can get Proved Righteous Fury, Kings, Sanctuary. I would get Reckoning for PvP so that you get that added power, because you just don't have just a ton of points that you have to feed into things. Maybe it's not even worth it. Maybe you just go here, and then you get Holy Shield. So you got Sanctuary and Holy Shield and Martyrdom to give you enough AoE attacks, because this will allow you to hold 4 mobs, which is pretty good. It's probably as many as you need to tank at a time, right? And you can maybe tank then without Consecration and stuff, because this is putting you at level 40. Okay, level 50 you still can't pick up Consecration. All right, you just come in here, boom. I think I would probably rather drop Holy Shield for Consecration. And then you could switch back. So at level 50, we probably go back to using Aegis, and then you can respec these points and put these, somewhere else. I don't know. But yeah, this is kind of interesting that we just have this, kind of have to play with these points and stuff. And I thought, well, that's That's cool. They want us to mess around with it, kind of develop a new meta at these different level caps, like they were talking about. I thought that's neat because this is going to force me to kind of toy around with this. Is Holy Shield better than Consecration? I'm going to say it's probably not. But we'll have to toy around with it. We'll have to play and see. And then I thought, well, that's cool that other classes are going to have this dilemma, right? Because there's plenty of classes that have good skill points that they want to pick up as they level, but they would really like to have that, 11th point in a tree. I guess not mages. But there are plenty of other ones that really benefit from having a couple points into these other trees where you're not going to have at 40 and 50. This restricting what you can do for a given time for a new raid tier, and allowing people to kind of play around with what is an undefined meta is going to keep people interested in stuff. Now, I don't know if that's something that can continue long term, right? With going back with the season ideas, like if you keep just adjusting those level caps around, I don't think it's going to, like, by the second or third season of this, of just saying, oh, it's now it's going to be a level 22 cap and a 38 cap and stuff, just to kind of artificially give us this time to mess around and find a new meta for a while. That might not be a thing that we want to see continue. But we will, that this gives the Blizzard and the community enough time to work that out together, where maybe just in this season people just get really tired of it. Maybe they set at level 25 for a bit and they're like, man, I don't give, maybe there's enough people to say, I don't give a shit about raiding PFD. It was fun the first time, but I don't want to do it for 6 weeks to farm out a whole new set of gear that's going to be obsolete by the time I get to the next level cap at 40. There's going to be people that just feel like that's a waste of time. The idea is get to the end, get the best gear, get in the raids, get it done. And to those kinds of people, it's not going to be enjoyable. But there's going to be a lot of people who just want a new way and dive in and really enjoy this unique system that they're adding here, and they might get a lot out of it. So we're just going to have to see how the community responds and how loved or hated this new season is. Because Season of Mastery just didn't do enough to the game. That was the big complaint everybody had, is just change shit. That's what we wanted. We want you to change stuff. We want you to rebalance things. We want new dungeons and and zones filled out, new quests, and so just in getting that aspect of it done, they will get there eventually. This does allow them to eventually get to a point where the base game itself, having a little bit of, having some of the power from runes, whether they nerf them or remove them or whatever, or change it, but over the years we'll get crafting changes, and we'll get skill tree changes, and we'll get different things along the way, and we'll get new raids and dungeons that have new gear sets and new set bonuses and stuff to lean into new different ways of playing the game. So that's it. I just wanted to get my thoughts out of my head on this, because it's been rolling around in there for a couple of days. The biggest thing is this whole thing of people saying this is Classic Plus Beta. And nothing that Blizzard says leans into that at all, and nothing that they have shown makes me think that's not what they're doing. Like, to say that they're changing direction from their own statements and going into classic, of true classic plus expansion, like the following year. It's not there. But like I said, it could be even better long term for the game. Really, the health of the game is probably better off that they're not doing that. So we'll leave it there, and I'll catch you next time.